pleasure to welcome back an old friend of Oklahoma gardening, Steve Dobbs, who is the grounds manager here at OSU. Steve, welcome back to the show.
Thank you. Thank you. It's nice to be back, of course.
I'm sure. It's been such a pleasure to see your efforts in campus beautification since you've been here. And I know that a part of that has really been promoting trees.
Yes. We actually have an overall campus beautification plan. Been working on a landscape master plan revision, which ties to our university's sustainability goals. And so it's nice to see all the changes going on, and tree protection is important because of all the construction going on.
And you were recently awarded or recognized as a Tree Care Campus USA. Tell me about that.
Tree Campus USA is a program sponsored by the National Arbor Day Foundation. And what it does, it really just awards or rewards people who are taking your tree care seriously, you know, that you really value their purpose on campus and what are you going to do to plant more and protect them. And so we had to develop a plan to be able to justify that recognition.
And I know you've worked with some of the clubs on campus to plant trees. And a big part of that plan for protecting the trees deals with construction. And right now there's a big project taking place.
Oh, there is. We're getting ready to renovate our main thoroughfare through campus, which is Monroe Street. And we're actually designing it to be more of a pedestrian type plaza. So wider sidewalks. We'll still have some traffic through there at certain times of the day, but it'll just be a beautified project to more pedestrian tree-lined streets.
Yes.
And we have beautiful trees through here that we need to protect during the construction.
I imagine that protecting those really starts with the educational component.
It does. Of course, with us, it started even earlier in the design component.
Right.
So much because you have to decide where's the design going to take place in conjunction with the trees. If the trees remaining on campus is important, which it was, and so there's give and take, but then it's educational as well. But truly deciding where we're going to put our fence down, if you will, and not move, so those trees are protected.
When you're working with the contractors, and I've had some experience with that, a lot of people think, oh, we need to protect the trunk or just right up against the tree, but that's really not the case.
Well, part of our Tree Campus USA certification was this tree care plan that we developed, which does talk about how to take care of trees, including the protection. And so part of that educational process is knowing where the tree roots are.
Right.
And that varies on tree and location, but it's not just protecting the trunk, it's more importantly protecting the tree roots as well, and that's where the battle comes in.
And tree roots extend so far. A lot of people think they go down, but they really spread out.
You know, typically it's 2 to 3 times out past the drip line of the tree, but what surprises people more than anything is how shallow they are.
True.
Some research shows 90% of the tree roots are in the top 12 inches, 24 inches of soil. And almost every construction project wants to add soil or scrape it away or cut them, and that's where the challenge comes in.
So what are some of the measures being taken to protect those trees?
Well, again, in the construction design part, we determine what we're going to protect and where the fences go, and it's based on a formula really on the size of the trunk of the tree and the canopy, and then those fence drawings go on the pre-construction, pre-bid drawings, and people know how serious we are. It talks about why we're doing it even in the pre-bid and the construction documents. So when they bid on it, they know what they're getting into right on the front side. Then when they're awarded the bid, we do a pre-construction meeting. And it's not to be mean, it's really to educate, like you said, because the contractors and subcontractors may not know the tree roots are shallow, and why are we protecting the trees? Everybody likes trees, you know, they're not maliciously wanting to hurt them, but it's just trying to protect them during the construction phase.
So for a homeowner, for example, building an addition, where would you recommend placing that fence?
Well, typically it is about the drip line is a good gauge. We have a formula where we do 1.5 times the trunk diameter, so ours actually puts you a little bit past the drip line if we can get it. But for a homeowner, I'd really look at a drip line, go as far as you can, and really what you're doing is saying, I'm staking this territory, don't get in there. And as you know, it has to be pretty severe.
Yeah, and that can vary. I like the approach of measuring the trunk because some trees have a very pyramidal form.
Yep.
Their drip line doesn't extend out very far, so
That's
this way
true.
you're getting a bit more of an
And there is a
accurate-
correlation between the trunk size and the canopy size, so it works out pretty well. But our recipe, if you will, gives us just a little bit more
room.
past the drip line if we can at all possible.
One of the things I would say from our construction experiences is you want a really sturdy fence that can't be moved.
Yes.
Yeah.
Through experience, I've done the caution tape, the safety fence, and all of those things are easily moved or removed. And in ours, you can see we've put up a 6-foot chain link fence that are stuck into the ground with T-post and secured very tightly. So it's a little bit more of an effort. But it's not just protecting the roots. You know, there's challenges like if they want to park their equipment under the drip
Right.
line and the diesel or oil leaks. Do you put a porta potty under a tree drip line and it blow over in a storm and all the chemicals? So it's protecting everything around the tree from whatever may happen.
Steve, what are the repercussions for your contractor if they don't follow your rules or they do damage a tree?
Well, what we have written in the contract right now is they can be assessed a fine, and it depends on the kind of damage. And you know, some of these trees are valued at $20,000 and $25,000, some of these big trees. So that gets their attention, of course, if they know that up front. But also they can lose privileges to work on campus again.
And I know there's some examples from older construction on campus where trees are dying because they weren't protected. It's really a very serious...
It is. We have a few parking lots that have popped up that are gravel, intended to be temporary, and they, you know, before we got this plan in place, the thought was, well, let's just save this tree, and they would doze around it and cut the roots or change the grade, and not really knowing how. And within a year's time, we've got several examples on campus where the big trees are dying. So everybody's getting on board, and it's exciting time.
I think that's a good message for homeowners too, to see something like that. Say it's a new construction project or an addition. A lot of times you pick a place because it has trees, but you need to protect those.
It's true. I know I've worked with homeowners where they'll reposition their house to try to save the most optimum number of trees they can. And it's the same principle on a smaller scale. You just have to protect those trees. And that means even if you're going in and subgrading, pulling out the underbrush, you know, I encourage people to do that by hand or by a smaller piece of equipment so they don't damage those roots. There's a little bit more to it, but you know, there's a lot of information out there now on how to do it too.
And the tree repair plan for OSU is online and would be a great resource.
It is. We've got
anyone.
a website link that anybody can get to that just kind of shows how we're taking care of our trees on campus that people are welcome to look at for sure.
Well, I'm really excited to see the changes that you've been undertaking here,
Thank
and I'm
you.
looking forward to more.
Yeah, it's good to be back. It's nice. Thank you.